always be curious, always be hungry. Really, like, there's no replacing hunger, I think, for people, like hunger and wanting to make an impact.
Diana, I looked over your LinkedIn and it looks like you have an incredible background.
Okay.
I saw that you worked at Wix for about like 6 years, making it all the way up to being the head of international marketing and growth, which is really cool. And now you're currently head of marketing and communication at Exein. Did I say that right? Exein?
Exein, yes.
Exein. Okay. Awesome. So I would just love to hear just about your story. Like, how did you get to where you are today? Because that sounds incredible.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the great intro and for having me.
Thank you.
So I started in marketing about like 10 plus years ago. My marketing ride really started at Wix. Like before that, it was really journalism, PR, like still the whole ecosystem of content creation, but more like on the media side. And then like I started at Wix, like in the marketing department as a localization like manager, like for the Italian market, like more like kind of marketing and growth for the Italian market specifically though. And then really went into organic growth mostly. Like it was a SEO. I started to lead like a team of SEO specialists for international markets. Then it was like the organic growth of international markets, including blog and SEO and pages, optimization, and really like trying to get like organically as much exposure for Wix as possible in global markets. And then like I really kind of took over the whole like sort of international growth, like operation and strategy, which meant really like making an impact and achieving results in every market that was really like non-English speaking market that was especially strategic for us. Like Wix exists in 21 languages, like with a lot of different geos of focus. So we touched everything, like really like sort of built a team and a department that was touching all different aspects of marketing. Really, it was a sort of almost like a startup within a department, you know, like a standalone startup. Like, so you have like B2C,
Oh, cool.
B2B, influencer, brand, like, you know, kind of a funnel optimization, content creation, like you name it. So it was very cool. Like I kind of managed to touch a lot of different aspects. And of course, you know, there are some that like fall more naturally in your career than others, and others you learn and whatnot. But it was really, really a cool ride. And where I am today, like basically I was living in Israel. It's a very like sort of personal story,
Wow.
right? Like I was living in Israel until about over a year ago. Moved to Rome, and I moved back to Rome, and I really like I went from the big organization to really like the big mission of like the sort of scaling up and kind of really building like the brand and the growth for a startup in an industry that is super super critical right now, like a cybersecurity. Like Exein is a company that focuses on cybersecurity for IoT, embedded systems, and interconnected devices. So it was really about tapping into a new mission, obviously very B2B, like very sort of captivating these days, and rebuild it from the ground up, really. So this is where I am today.
That is so cool. I love that. So hopping into a B2B like cybersecurity company from like Wix must have been pretty, I imagine it's quite different. Is it, or is
Hmm.
it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's sorry, go ahead.
oh no, no, you can go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
it's definitely quite different. I mean, of course, and I think the topic of AI is of course very very relevant, especially within this context. And I'm sure we're gonna talk about it more. But it's really eventually it's always been about like I worked in SaaS for years,
Mhm.
like tapping into the cybersecurity market, the audience that you're actually going after, the building the trust. How do you actually like
Uh,
penetrate that field in which people are ensuring like security for the devices, like firmware level? It's a different kind of way to not sell, like because we tell don't sell, but like it's a
mhm.
different way to really like enter that market and do it in a captivating way. So so it was really a cool challenge, I have to say. Like from the big brand to really like growing a brand from within. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I can kind of relate with hopping into like a cybersecurity startup where I'm currently at is Paramify.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like the first marketing hire there. And Paramify is a GRC startup. So just on the GRC is basically that like sub niche of cybersecurity where it's governance,
Yeah.
risk, and compliance. And
Right.
Yeah, I can definitely relate there on like trying to just build a brand from within and like with this niche, like say cybersecurity, it's like so vital that you're enabling trust with your customers. Like whereas, with other companies where they're more B2C, it's like, yes, trust is important, but it's not like super vital with every single client, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, it's let's say at Wix, it was we were focusing on both like B2C and B2B, but obviously if you come from a brand that is very much established, like it's obviously a software, and it's a big public high-tech company, like tons of resources, like really kind of very layered functioning structures, and you're really going into a business that is really like being rebuilt completely, like take the marketing department and really build it like from zero, pretty much like from zero, like
Yeah.
first hire, you have another hire, and then you have two hires, like, and you really start to rebuild it. It's a very cool challenge to be in, like in the current phase. And what you said about compliance is very much relate to it, because compliance is super super key these days. It's eventually like companies will need to be compliant whether they know it or want it, whether they know
Right.
it or not, whether they want it or not. So it's very important that actually this is ensured these days. So it's a very relevant time to be in cybersecurity.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, so since you like really have like built the marketing program at Exein for like from the ground up and really like building the brand, I'm
Hmm.
curious what your favorite B2B marketing strategy when it comes to cybersecurity, like what that favorite strategy is.
Yeah. So it's there are multiple like let's say layers and alleys that you pursue in that, but definitely uh I would say for sure community, brand marketing, the really like building a relevant like pipeline, a kind of lead generation engine that starts really from the outbound brand that you're placing. I mean, there's no one that is a bigger believer than me in sort of brand marketing, like the sell or the journey will be that much easier if your brand is established and people believe it and know it. And I think the year, especially in the past 5 years, has become more relevant even for the more skeptical ones over time.
Yeah.
Very much here, but in terms of strategy, really, it's about like it starts from the branded search volume, it starts from the traffic, it starts from the content creation, but it really goes into optimizing a funnel that eventually is the right one. You can bring everything that you want, but like eventually needs to be really targeted to make this like a very functional machine that generates eventually the important leads that will be pursued also by the commercial side, and really to get that journey like the right way. But it's really touching every step. So we're like doing a lot of like lead generation campaigns. We're doing a lot of like brand campaigns, and a lot of like content being produced in order to really position the product in a time in which the demand is very key. So like the demand generation is very much a key at the moment, especially in this field.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's so important, especially right now
Hmm.
in both of our niches, like for our cybersecurity and GRC.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So you've been in marketing for a while now. You've had a super cool career. I'm curious, how has like your marketing strategies changed throughout your career as like say these new AI tools have been coming out and
Yeah.
just new technology? How's that affected your career?
Yeah. First of all, I must say when it comes to AI, I've been a sort of a fan for a long time and a user for a long time before it was even cool. Like
Yeah.
we've been testing it a lot, and it really, really changed my career. It really changed like the rendition and the performance of everyone in the teams. Like I led like at Wix before, and also now like we're starting to use it more and more. But it really was a game changer of the past 6 years, both in my career, like personally, in terms of how I do conduct my work, how I do think big picture, short details, practical implementation, inspiration, operational efficiency. It really, it's an ecosystem of usage, and it can even like overwhelm sometimes if you like don't zoom out and even try to understand why you're actually using it in the first place, right? But
Yeah.
it's in terms of the results, I really feel like it affected in a major, major way the performance that we've actually seen like in the business. And I'm speaking about Wix, and I'm speaking about Exein. I mean, I'm at Exein for 6 months, so it's not it's still relatively fresh, right? But
Yeah.
in terms of how it really changed my career, it was a big eye opener into not necessarily discovering what you couldn't discover before, but doing it obviously in a much faster, more insightful way, like in a much more like kind of tactical way. Like I use it, I have to
Yeah.
say, in many different ways, like from, there are the three dimensions, right? Like you can use it sort of like search engine, and then it can be an automation, and it can be AI agents, and we have these sort of like three bastions of usage these days, and it's obviously like it's way more than the search engine, like, but it's really a sort of zooming in, magnifying glass into how you not only you can work more efficiently, but how you can capture like a more widespread like information that you can kind of integrate into a strategy, but and it makes just teams better, really.
Absolutely. I completely agree. What I've been saying, say with Paramify, it's just been boosting our productivity like across the board. Every
Yeah.
single team member, we're just using as much AI as possible. And it's just incredible to see, like even just within myself, like how much more I'm able to do as the years go by and more tools come out. It's really
Yeah.
fun. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, it's really a constant experimentation, meaning it's we have our main tried the go-tos, right? Like I mean personally, like obviously there's ChatGPT, like a design mid-journey, HeyGen localization. You can do it for content ROI forecasting. You can do it for perplexity, Claude, like in-depth research. You take it to the next level, even like building your own GPTs. I have to say, like on my on my ride, I'm still in the middle towards the AI agents. I think in 6 months, still the things are really gonna look different yet. Like, but also I have to say, in the automation phase, it's unless the processes are properly built in order to automate them well with AI, I kind of feel that there is a natural proclivity to go for the automation buzz, but like, when
Yeah.
at the get-go, you still maybe need to fix something a little bit better, so, but
Yeah.
I have to say, from design to ideas, content, strategy, overall vision, efficiency, I use everything. I love to test everything. I never get tired of it. So it's
I
great.
love it. Yeah, I'm completely the same way. I love just testing, experimenting, and learning all this stuff. It's just so much fun for me.
For
And
sure.
that kind of leads in to my next question for you. I'm really curious, what are your favorite tools that you're using on a day-to-day basis? And I should
Mhm.
preface like AI tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will start with the obvious, with the OpenAI and ChatGPT, like in terms of not only like creating content, email campaign, sequencing, like persona dev, like campaign strategy, like overall kind of long-term strategy for the year. I have to say I'm a huge fan of Claude also. Like
Oh, yeah.
Claude also, it many times has an edge for me. It's my other bookmark to like over like ChatGPT in terms of sometimes like strategy and content and assembly of information in a very sort of formalized, like kind of compelling way. The visual side of it, like Sora, Midjourney, DAL-E, I never really understood exactly how you pronounce it, but like it's kind
Yeah.
of the DAL-E. But Midjourney, Sora for sure. Like also in terms of video creation, like in video AI, like also with localization, I have to say we tested a lot of like localization also at Wix when it came to videos. Like also the HeyGen we used quite a bit. A Runway, Gamma, like those I you don't use like every single day, but when I have like specific projects that focus on the kind of video production, then I love Jasper. I have to say, I love Jasper. Like when it comes to like blogs, like blog posts, content strategy, also, like I think Jasper is actually very, very effective. Brand, which, as you heard me say before, it's a very big buzzword for me, not just like buzzword, but I really do believe in brand marketing all the way to like kind of revenue, sales, and pipeline generation. So a Brand 24, I thought it was very cool. I have to say, when you want to monitor like sentiment, like when you want to
Right.
understand, like it's a basically like a brand marketing like AI tool. And what else? Well, obviously like DeepSeek, Perplexity, but I have to say the ones I mentioned are the ones that are like almost my daily usage to some degree.
That is awesome. So you have like a whole like collection of tools that you're using pretty consistently. I'm the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
way.
I
I'm
have like
using
my
everything.
buckets of usage. Like I go for research there, for content there, for video
Yeah.
there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My arsenal, like sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Yeah. No, I'm completely the same way. And along like talking with all these tools, they're all very interesting and they're also all evolving very rapidly.
A
Like we
lot,
went
yeah.
from, I don't know, let's say 2022, like ChatGPT 3 came out and that's kind of just what started this
Yeah.
whole wave and it just started changing. Like I felt like almost every industry, especially like marketing, like really
Hmm.
started impacting our kind of jobs. And I'm really curious. So like for me, when I look out say like 5 years, I feel like the world's going to change dramatically. And I'm very curious what you think. Like, what do you think the future will look like in 5 years when it comes to
Hmm.
AI? And how will AI in 5 years do you think will affect your career?
Yeah. So I think it's a very, very obviously interesting conversation. It's one that worries a lot of people, fairly so as well. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I feel that, first of all, AI is not a threat. It's an enabler.
Mm,
It's an engine of growth and enhancement, the way I see it. And you can incorporate it into your, not just like daily usage, but like really embrace it with a open-mindedly embrace it, or maybe you need to be afraid that it will be replacing you, kind of like
uh,
incorporate it into who you are. But it's really like it's also, first of all, only as good as you use it. There's like an important like point I think to mention about, that there's not like bad AI, there's like bad implementation of AI. It's like it's only as bad as like the bad prompt that is made. But then like if you really perfect it, it's a game changer. It opens a whole universe. In terms of career, I think, as I said, like it's really the 24/7, not just like personal assistant, but like it enables like magnitude and efficiency and kind of a production scaling that eventually we all need to stay ahead of, like keep up with, like keep up the pace with, because otherwise you're gonna be left behind. Like there's companies are using it, so either you
mhm,
embrace it or you're gonna stay 25,000 kilometers like behind, and the pace
mhm.
is gonna be way ahead of you. So so I think that's also a fact to kind of recognize at the moment. In terms of career, it is to be embraced, but I also think in some ways it's not replacing like all jobs, but it's replacing like kind of like junior roles sometimes, like in the sense that
Yeah.
seniority has become more of a must, like a kind of
Yeah.
experience, like the kind of starting roles of to be learned and whatnot. It's a little bit, I'm not saying like obsolete, but it's sort of decreasing a little bit. So like I think also, especially in high tech, like seniority, experience,
Yeah.
knowledge, and AI usage have become like more and more critical. And I think it's also in terms of positions, career, and jobs. It's become, especially in marketing, really a must. Like I have to say, would be like a bit reluctant to kind of think about candidates sometimes and roles and so on, people that are completely unfamiliar with it. Like it needs to be part of your toolkit. So I
Yeah.
try to make it part of my daily toolkit, and it is. And I think really in marketing, it should be the same for everyone.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think everything you were saying right there is exactly where we're trending. Like
Hmm.
as like say Pranify, we're a pretty lean startup. It's like when say we're like at least for me, like I'm looking at like say candidates or let's say even like friends that like want to come and like work for the company, like work under me. I'm like, okay, the first thing is like you need to really be utilizing all these AI tools. And I'm
Yeah,
surprised at how many people that I talk to are not really that are like trying to get into marketing, I should say, aren't
yeah,
really doing research and really spending the time to educate themselves on how to use these tools and how to utilize them to better their career and how to make them more efficient. And I really see is like in 5 years, you're right. It's going to be people who are in senior roles with experience that are utilizing an army of AI tools like yourself. And it's going to be, I think, very hard, say, for those that are looking for entry level marketing roles. I think
yeah,
it's going to be very difficult to get into those. I'm not too sure what's going to happen to those roles, say, in
yeah.
the distant future.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's eventually, I mean, like shifting a bit the very briefly, like the topic
Yeah.
here, I think obviously like quality education, higher education is keeping up the pace with it. I think also like universities and so on, but really looking at the industry, like the spaces for that, like, not saying like intern, but like the person that really needs to learn and will learn by doing and so on, it's like shrinking a little bit. But eventually, like also the very senior roles, as we said, is like the double-edged sword, because the very senior roles that indeed did not like really embrace it fully, like, and kind of make sure to really incorporate it, will stay behind, or at least like will kind of not make the business like scale at that level.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I say like I think it's senior leadership and then companies as a whole, if they aren't like actively implementing
Yeah.
all these various AI tools and making sure they're being as productive and as efficient as possible, I completely agree. I think they're most likely going to be left in the dust by companies that are and senior leadership that are heavily
Yeah.
utilizing these tools.
Yeah. I think it's when it comes to AI in marketing, I think it's also important to mention that AI is not magic. Yeah. Like I think sometimes it's also looked at this sort of magic wand of fixes, which it's not, unless the actual, this is why I think the human you can't really take out. In my view, like humans are here to stay, like in terms of keeping up with it, like in order even to shape it like strategically within the business, there is no complete like replacement of it. Like I think there is still the even though obviously even like within AI it's becoming more human all the time. Entire like there's a humanized tool that I tested in terms of making like it's all there, but I do think that there are certain processes that need to be in place for AI to work. Like it's if you're kind of fixed or disrupted, even AI cannot do that. So it's important to also like do it as a marketer to get those workflows in place.
Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, I think at least for probably as long as I'm alive, I'm assuming
Mhm.
that people are going to be vital to all this, right? Like we aren't going to get fully replaced by like some AGI system or something. Like
Yeah.
these are tools that we're going to use. They're going to be like our Iron Man suit. It's just going to make us all better.
Yeah.
But along with that, you mentioned like the importance of the human. I'm curious for you, what do you think within your skill set is the most AI proof?
So, well, I mean, I have to say that like when it comes to someone that first of all it's the heavy lifter, someone that is really like the almost business disruptor, like I've seen many people that come like also from different type of backgrounds that really change the face of the business. I really ideas, AI can give you ideas, but I feel you still need that human to really come up with those disruptive campaigns. Again, AI is your assistant, is your shaper, is your former, but no one knows your brand more better than you. Like again, it's a support like frame that you have around you in order to make sure that your brand comes forth. But eventually, the way it needs to be marketed, it needs that human kind of outset, like that human sort of engine. Like there's no kind of genuine like replacement for that strategic understanding of who you should be. There is just like a sort of enablement, like a kind of addition there. I also feel that when it comes to like human understanding of also like talents, resources, ecosystems. It's leaders are leaders, like within businesses and the way they
Yeah.
shape it. Like it's AI can of course review tests, possibilities, many things. But I have to say, maybe I'm old school, but also like in recruitment process, sometimes I don't let AI help me that much. Like it's in a way, like there is a sort of that analytical eye that only you have, and you know what exactly matches, like that. I think there is still a need of that sort of human brain behind it. And really, like I feel eventually like top level strategy and kind of tactical implementation and creating the right ecosystem to make an impact and go to that market. Like you need a human source, at least one behind that. Then you can have a battalion of like AI agents working with you like properly. But I think those things are still bulletproof, like even when it comes to AI. It's
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I completely agree. People are the essence and like the fuel of like what's going to be building these companies. And
Yeah.
ultimately, like AI agents, in theory, will get to the point where they can be fully agentic and stuff. But still, right now, people are very vital to them
Yeah.
performing and performing well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah, also like the power of eventually, especially in B2B, I feel like, and as I told you, I'm fairly like new in the cybersecurity B2B, so I'm still learning a lot as I go. We also love to learn a lot of new tricks in my career as I go. It's the persuasion, the kind of compelling someone, especially in such a critical area. You hear all these avatars and agents and so on, but like it's very sensitive, especially when security is at stake. So I feel again, it's a process to be built between that human that is really like communicating to you the need to be secure and compliant, and yes, there is someone that can make the call, but it's supposed to be a complementary kind of complementing process. Like I still don't see it
yeah.
as mutually exclusive, let's say.
Yeah, I actually I completely agree with that too. It's interesting with cybersecurity and GRC with these and maybe even just like B2B in general, but really like
Yeah,
GRC and cybersecurity. I can almost see like in the future, like in person, like these trade shows, in-person events where you actually really face-to-face meet clients, where you can
yeah,
really enable that trust just by you're talking to someone, just like how we're talking right now, and like
yeah,
get to see someone in the eye. Like I feel like those types of interactions are going to become more and more vital as time goes
yeah,
on, as like a whole bunch of companies are going to be implementing like like full-blown AI SDRs and
yeah,
yeah, these like AI chatbots that are like emulating somebody. I feel like people are going to really start craving that authenticity and that
yeah.
interpersonal interaction to build trust.
Completely agree. And also, by the way, I think we're seeing a lot in the marketing trends like B2B, like of going back to have the sort of human representation of things, because it's a lot
Yeah.
of you get a lot lost in content, in kind of ads and campaigns. It's we're kind of taking back the brand advocacy, the sort of
Mhm.
UGC or the customer speaking for you that like let someone else do the talking for you. It's really going back to that source of like humanity to kind of
Mhm.
cut through the noise a little bit. Sometimes it's quite loud. I mean,
Yeah.
in that sense, I also feel that that's where the AI is going back to the human. It's still done through AI, but it's still going back a little bit to the human,
100%. Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting. Like kind of like a good example of that. It's like whether you like him or hate him, like for everybody, it's like Elon is kind of a good example of like he's someone that's like it's like founder-led marketing, right?
Yeah,
He's uh, using his platform and his voice, and he's essentially like yes, like SpaceX and Tesla, whatever they do their own
yeah,
marketing. However, primarily when you think Tesla, you're thinking Elon Musk, the founder,
yeah, for sure.
which I feel like kind of ties into what you were just saying there, which is kind of something we've implemented at Paramfy. Is like the founder-led marketing stuff has actually been for us
Yeah,
quite powerful,
yeah,
especially through LinkedIn. Just like being like, hey, here's a face to this brand, and this is like
for
the
sure.
almost like the yeah, or almost like the essence of the brand, because like this is the guy that started it, and this is what he thinks, and do you like him,
Absolutely.
trust him? That's up to you. But yeah,
For us also it's super super effective. I mean it's a company like it's not really really a startup anymore like, but it's growing very fast. It just got funding like like a couple of we announced.
congratulations.
Thank you. And the CEO is a cybersecurity veteran, like expert, like
Mhm.
worldwide, like a big influencer in the cybersecurity sphere. And it's that
Yeah.
that voice for like a brand like that, like really resonates quite strongly with all the strategies that we implement. Like it's very very effective.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like that's almost a cheat code, like how you're mentioning like brand marketing. I feel like that's
Mhm.
kind of a cheat code to building a really cool brand, is if you
Yeah,
can rely on some of your team members that can be more of a voice.
yeah.
It's
But
really
yeah,
cool.
like eventually it's also everything that happens down the funnel in terms of really optimizing like and driving that pipeline and generating those leads. I think that's also like obviously a very, very big focus. And I will tell you more in a few months, but I think we're kind of optimizing like the processes right now. I think there are some tactics that are really working, and it's a work in progress. Obviously, like the team is growing at the moment, but it's quite like a cool challenge that we're starting to see like results from a lot. And also I really believe in kind of community. So, all the Reddit, like now, by the way, if
Yeah,
we want to speak AI, like, LLMs, GO,
yeah,
like the SEO to GEO like a conversation, but it's
yeah,
also making sure that you're actually there on those LLMs, and how are you there on those LLMs, so like kind of build a community, because eventually the content can also be sourced from there. So those are also very effective, important marketing strategies to implement, especially in B2B.
yeah. I love it. So I'm really curious because it seems like you're very focused on building communities. What's been like, I would say like your favorite strategy for building a community, especially in this like cybersecurity space, which can be
Yeah.
so niche?
So I have to say, so it's a very early stage, so it's a bit like I'll get back to you on that
For
one.
sure. Yeah.
But at the moment, it's really studying what works and how those conversations are supposed to be placed and where those communities are, because it's embedded cybersecurity. It's a very, very specific niche, and you find those communities, but you need to find like the right hook, the right way to actually like communicate yourself and exactly where those people are. And it's all the it's also like the more like kind of nerdy crowd, the GitHub, this and that. So it's really like talking to those, like how do you speak to the product security? How do you speak to the engineer? How do you speak to the developer? So from Slack to Reddit, Captera, like, but especially Reddit, really, like we've been mapping a bit where these conversations are and try to like kind of craft what type of communication needs to be put there. And it's really something that kind of it's starting very much so from August, September onwards. But the plan is his device is crafted, the plan is created. Now we just need to execute it, really.
I love it. That's so cool. And I hope you're really successful on Reddit. Lightly dabbled in Reddit, and it's something that we're currently raising a funding round right
Oh,
now as well. And that's something we want to go after in the near future.
yeah,
However, from the light dabbling, Reddit's kind of a scary place. Like
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're,
Can be
yeah, when
very.
you're dealing with these super technical crowds and like people tend to be, at least from my experience, very aggressive. Like if you're not quite in their niche and you're a new guy, they won't necessarily. I mean, it depends on the community for sure, but like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to know how
yeah,
to tackle it like properly. So yeah, stay tuned.
yeah, 100%. But yeah, I love it. That's awesome. I hope the Reddit stuff's super successful for you. That'll be really cool.
Also, good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. I need it. So, just bringing it back to AI really quick. I'm
Hmm.
curious, since you use like this whole host of tools and you named a whole bunch of them, I'm curious if you can name, let's say, one that is
Hmm.
more so under the radar that you
Hmm.
love.
One that is under the radar.
Yeah.
Well, like I mean, GPT researcher is not really under the radar, but no, I have to say the ones I mentioned are not really like under the radar so much.
Yeah.
So, well, let me tell you that I kind of use. I need to tell you exactly which one
Yeah.
is like the underdog.
Oh,
Well, I
good.
have to tell you, I
Uh,
think
yeah.
actually like Brand 24 was very much under the radar. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not really known, but it's very, very good. It's very,
Yeah.
very good.
That's one I haven't used.
Yeah, yeah, it's very good for sentiment, brand measurement. It's actually like quite effective, I have to say. And a lot
Interesting.
of the time I go on those like sort of GPTs hunt, like
Mhm.
they test a few there, like to tell you one, but I don't know, I play with a lot of those. Like I need to tell you exactly a name, but now I have to say I'm gone blank.
No, I love it. I think it's Brands 24, correct?
Yeah, yeah, it's brand
Yeah. Okay.
24. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. For brand
Actually, well,
sentiment,
Runway, a bit of
yeah.
Runway is not that also underdog, to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Perplexity, Claude, all the ones I mentioned are very much like I don't think that underused. But Brand
Mhm.
24 was one that honestly I just like found, and it was very cool. Like also Lovable, I have to say. Lately, I started playing with Lovable.
Oh,
Also like,
Lovable. Lovable's
yeah,
cool.
And
Yeah.
Zapier, obviously.
Yeah.
With Zapier, yes, also I have to say like I'm in the midst of like wanting to crack it, like I started and I really
Yeah.
want to crack it.
Yeah. That that's been me recently, especially also with NAN. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've just been like staying up late. I'm like
Yeah.
trying to automate things with it, and it's low-key so fun.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know HeyGen for video localization, but that's a very cool one also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one's awesome. Yeah, that one's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes, yes. 11 Labs, but you know,
11 Labs is great.
11 Labs also.
Yeah. I messed around just for fun, creating like an AI SDR out of
Yeah.
11 Labs, and it was actually really good. And
Yeah.
I didn't actually implement it for anything, but it was just testing it, and
Yeah,
it was
it's I
fun.
have to
It's
say
cool.
it's also I we spoke about Arsenal before, and it's a world out there, like it's of experimentation. Test a lot, understand which one also works, and also like what you still didn't exactly master about why it doesn't really work is probably there's some untapped, like for sure an untapped potential that you didn't really like kind of unveil. But eventually, like you have like your go-to 6 to 8, and then this other like kind of playing field of tools that you just need to incorporate more and more.
Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, I am curious
Mhm.
since you've gotten to like pretty high up in your career, you're head of marketing of a pretty cool cybersecurity startup, and you climbed the ranks at Wix. I'm curious, what would your advice be for someone that's listening that say they want to just start their career in marketing, or
Hmm.
they're looking at starting a B2B like SaaS company?
Yeah,
What kind of advice would you tell them?
yeah. Be bold, like so it's like strive big, do your research, do the heavy lifting of understanding if there is even a market for that. Like eventually you can build whatever product, like in the SaaS but it's really, are you actually bringing, what's the value proposition? Are you actually bringing like added value to what the market actually needs? Because eventually you can, to cut through that, you really need to see if there is like a need there. What is the contribution that you're making and to who? It's because
Yeah.
everybody wants to start something, right? But like sometimes
Yeah.
but it's really what is the value proposition, what type of added value you have. I think always be curious, always be hungry. We always speak also with people about really like there's no replacing hunger, I think, in people, like
Yeah.
hunger and wanting to make an impact. And if you know what you're making it in, just I think there is always the being also mentally, like intellectually hungry as well as always curious, because like kind of don't get settled on what's comfortable, especially if you want to launch a business and if you want to kind of like disrupt an industry, if you want to grow a business. Really, it's boldness, hunger, and diligence also, kind of.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I would say.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's some fantastic advice. Finally, this is the last question for you.
Right
Uh,
ahead.
I mean, I feel like we've kind of already covered it a bit, but yeah, let's get right into it. So, how are you making sure that you're staying future proof? Just
Me
from now on.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I have to say I try to kind of the mental gymnastics that I don't think you need to impose on yourself. Like I'm naturally intellectually curious, so I think in order to say kind of future proof, I think you really need to stay ahead of the curve on what the kind of trends are happening. Is a bit like when we said in SEO like years ago, you're only as relevant as the algorithm goes, and then there is an algorithm change and everything changes and everything that you worked on, like
Yeah.
it's all of a sudden like out the window, so it's you need to be agile, like as a human, as a professional, versatility, like a versatility alongside hunger. And I really try to always like think that I can adapt. I always like strive for more like growth from myself, like making everything work like around me. And I think eventually those always like kind of win the day. You try to always make yourself better. Like I'm never complacent.
Mhm.
Like I always expect a lot from myself, and I think at the end of the day, that's also what makes you future proof. time will
I
tell.
love that. I love that. Yeah, it's almost just like what you were saying before. Like you can't replace like a hunger. Like
Yeah,
stay hungry, stay adaptable, and just go
yeah,
after it.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love it. Diana, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was super cool. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, this was super fun, and might have to have you on again once when you guys really test out your Reddit strategy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
Yes.
love it.
And
Awesome. Thank
good
you so
luck
much.
to
Yeah,
you. Yeah, happy to stay in touch.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Same here.
Bye.
Bye.